We're live? Shit, okay. Well, good morning, guys. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday.
Good morning.
We're back. What is this, episode 3?
Yeah, we're on
episode
3 now.
3 now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I appreciate everybody being here. I know you had a crazy evening yesterday.
Yes.
I know you had a crazy evening.
Always.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of want to start there today. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, too. My man Arllan was like out super late last night.
Oh, you was lit.
I don't know if he was lit.
was
I'm gonna let you tell it.
Tell me
But
what
let me say why I'm bringing this up though, because it was like till 2 a.m. yesterday, and I was like, dang, he was like partying in here, and then he had done it the night before too. So we back to back, and my gripe though is I'm like, where was my invite?
Oh, you didn't invite me either?
It was all last minute. It was all super last minute.
What were you guys doing?
Said it. So the night before, actually, on Friday night, it was my buddy Evan, who's my cousin introduced him to me. So he's like, trying to learn how to do all the DJ stuff, and so he's been using the spot, and because the acoustics are really good in here, and I have all like the fog machines and the lights and stuff. So kind of just threw a little mini rave in here. And then Saturday night.
I saw an oil change going down.
Oh,
Oil change and a party.
Yeah, there's an oil change and a rave going on at the same time. It's that F80 that's in the corner over there.
Right?
And then Saturday night rolls around, and my friend Jane is like co-hosting at a club at Intercrew, and so we all went.
Oh, sick.
And then we had an afters. I was like, everything's already set up here, so we might as well do it.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I didn't go home till 6 a.m.
And now we're here.
And now we're here. Yep.
Looking fresh as a daisy.
I don't know how I'm doing it. It's like, that's why I got coffee here with me this morning. So.
Bro, I didn't. Yeah, I saw it last night. I was like, dang, again.
Hey, grind don't stop.
Yeah.
Setting up for future stuff. Maybe, who knows?
Yeah.
We'll throw something here at the venue. We'll figure
Warrior,
it out.
bro. Warrior. Tiffany, I know that you were at King of Hammers last night.
Yeah, I was.
How was that?
Amazing. I had never been a King of Hammers my whole life. I've been living underneath a rock, and it was probably one of the most amazing experiences. Like I said, I've been in the industry for about 4 years now. I still feel, pretty new, just new to hobby, and kind of just look, we're here. This is where we're at right now. But
The biggest vehicle we've had.
No.
it's just a truck, right? It's just a truck.
I think it's ready for business.
Yeah, I'm always ready for business.
So did you compete out there?
No, I
chill?
got invited to go. I work with a lot of companies, my sponsors, that I actually purchased from, built a relationship. And I said, hey, I'd love to go to King of Hammers. And I'm just thinking, like, I see this stuff on YouTube, Instagram, everybody talks about it. And I said, I feel so left out. So I hit them up, I said, I'm gonna go. And then I found out a lot of the other companies I work with, that I'm sponsored with, was attending too. And I said, let's run it. So I work Monday through Friday, obviously. I work 2 jobs. And I said, you know what, if you really wanna do something and experience it, you just gotta go.
Oh, yeah.
So 100%. I got off of work about 3:30, packed my bag, and went out there Friday night. And they're like, you have to go see Chocolate Thunder. Obviously, you're familiar with Chocolate Thunder.
What's Chocolate Thunder? It sounds like a band.
It's like a crazy, rocky, high mountain, and people get pretty buck wild. I mean, you see all kinds of types of builds there. Stock, pre-runners, like...
Walk us through it. For someone like me, I have no idea what this sport
How
is
would
like.
you play King of Hammers? It's just...
King of the Hammers is basically, let's build a whole town out of shipping containers in the middle of the desert with all our off-road rigs and whatever the heck else that we're brave enough to drive in the sand and dirt. And all
food,
the rocks.
music,
And,
bonfires.
Yeah, food, music, bonfires. Like Nitto Tires has a huge presence over there. They do a
Kings.
whole thing, Kings and stuff like that. A lot of the off-road companies that you'll see.
Got it.
I think Von Gittin still drives his Ford Bronco in it too.
It's
They do a lot of stuff, but like the whole event is just
It's like a city.
straight 24/7 madness of nonstop
Music.
off-roading, music,
Fireworks.
partying.
So it's like Burning Man, but with like big ass vehicles.
Burning Man is a little different. This is just
I'd say so.
Burning Man
Yeah.
is different, but I would say like the vibe as a whole, like not knowing anything, and just what I've seen on social media and what friends talk about, everyone should definitely go.
Yeah.
Tell us about your time a little bit.
Everyone
So
was
what'd you
so
do?
nice. So the first night we were out there, we pulled in and then set up camp because
Okay.
I have a lot of friends that were out there. Some stayed at Airbnb, whatever you like to do. But and then they said, oh yeah, you gotta go to Chocolate Thunder. I'm like, okay. so what's gonna happen next? I mean, they're got laser, drone,
Oh, yeah.
and all these lights. And then my friends were like, we're just gonna go up there. So we parked on this hill, trying to hike up there like some goats. I mean, it's crazy. There's people having bonfires, like I said, up there. Everyone's drinking, and you see some off-road builds climbing up this crazy mountain.
Nuts.
Yeah, and then you seen this, like, I saw a Jeep that got stuck. I said,
That'll happen.
I said, how the heck are they gonna go over that big boulder? And their tires are just spinning, and the crowd's like saying, "Move, dude, get out the way." It's like, is anybody gonna help them? But everyone as a whole is helpful, but I think it's just a challenge.
Oh, yeah.
To get over it, and you see people going forwards, backwards.
Yep, people rolling cars over.
Yes.
All this stuff.
Damn.
Yep.
Living on the edge. Living on
Sounds
the
like
edge.
it. Sheesh.
But it's just amazing. Like, there's just not one word that you can explain how you feel. And I want to run it back next year, but I definitely want to be a little bit more prepared.
Oh, yeah.
And stay a little bit longer than just, 2 days, one night.
When you
But
say
yeah.
run it back, you
Definitely.
mean like you want to be a little more involved in the event?
I want to camp there, and I want to,
Yeah, that's
spend more
definitely a part
time,
of
check
the
out the
experience
races.
and stuff
Okay.
like that.
Yeah, but it was nice. I mean, just cooking food outside, waking up in the desert. I mean, I think I woke up, it was like, what, 5:30 in the morning? And you see people already ripping it
Oh,
in the
yeah.
desert. It's a nonstop because you hear fireworks all night.
Damn.
You hear music all night.
Sounds like a festival.
That's pretty much what
It's
it
like
is.
a party, you know?
Yeah.
That's
So-
crazy.
I remember King of the Hammers, like, was it 2 years ago? I think was my first time going to the Hammers, and I went last year. So usually I go with my buddies Yogi and Harry. So like,
Yeah.
they'll bring me out there and stuff like that because they work with like tire companies and all that.
Wow.
But like my first experience, like I didn't know what I was gonna expect, but it was just crazy. Like just all the dust flying everywhere, 24/7, and it's just like crowds going wild. Like going to Chocolate Thunder at night and experiencing just like fireworks, bonfires, like people
Everything.
yelling, and it's just like
We should
energy.
definitely go next year.
I'm feeling like I
Out
missed
of-
out.
Yeah, out
Yeah.
of every car event I've been to, like King of the Hammers is
Top notch.
probably the most high energy event that I've ever attended.
It's
Why
like
do, you, why do we think that is? Is it because of the vibe and everybody celebrating
I think
something?
it's because
or-
of the most definitely the vibe.
Yeah.
And it's one of those like, in a lot of like car community stuff, there's like barriers of entry, right? So
Yeah.
it's like you're not going to show up to like a drift event with like a Civic, like a base model '92 Civic.
I know you
The
just
King-
pissed somebody off.
Yeah.
Crush their dreams.
Sorry guys, but I tried that. It doesn't work.
you can roll up in anything.
But like King of the Hammers, you could roll up in anything.
People were rolling in their CRVs.
Yeah, CRVs, stock 4Runner.
Honda Accords.
Yeah, built
A
Cayman,
GR86
like
was
whatever
out
you
there.
want.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could roll whatever you want at King of the Hammers, but it's like as long as you could get it there, that's all that matters.
Got it.
But nobody cares what you have there.
No.
That's
They
pretty cool.
just want you to just have fun and just
Everyone's
run it.
helpful.
Yeah.
Like just the vibe itself. Just so much positive energy.
Mm.
All walks of life, all age groups, kids, old folks, just
I mean, you hit a lot of shows and a lot of events. You'd say that's like your top what? Like top 1, top 3,
I
top
would
5?
honestly say with the past couple years being in industry, going to a lot of reputable shows, events, meets, next to SEMA, I would say King of Hammers is probably one of my top 3 choices.
Wow,
Hands
that's-
down. Hands down.
Okay. You put SEMA just slightly above it?
I like SEMA. I don't just like SEMA. I love SEMA.
Yeah.
So to touch bases on SEMA, I think it's amazing opportunity to go to network, whether you're a consumer or whether you are displaying your build or hey, I'm going as a guest. There's so much to see. If you do SEMA, people say I could do it all in one day. That is a freaking lie.
Oh, hell
My
yeah, it
piece of
is.
advice, SEMA,
Hell yeah,
is,
it is.
wear comfortable shoes,
Yep.
bring some water, bring some snacks, take the Tesla loop for sure. But dedicate, so my first year SEMA, I'm not gonna talk how many steps I walked, but now knowing, doing SEMA back to back, I would write a list of all the companies you work with or any companies you want to network with and do it per building. If you get invited to like
smart.
industry parties, run it.
Oh yeah.
You're smart.
Just go have fun to meet people, introduce yourself, but do not ever say, I'm famous, I'm an influencer, I can help market you. I think being authentic, being sincere and genuine is one of the most amazing things that you could do for yourself because if you put up this big facade, I'm this, I'm that, okay, you acting real new, but imagine just moving with integrity, right?
Oh yeah.
You're not gonna crack.
For
You're gonna be
sure.
yourself. They're gonna read into that, because if you put up all these walls, I'm this, I'm that, I can do that. So saying your resume looks superb, and then, you know, a couple months down the road, like, hey, what happened to your work ethics? Something changed?
Right.
So yeah, I think leading by example, being positive, respect yourself, respect brands you work with, you buy from, and respect everyone as a whole, because you don't know what it took somebody to build that vehicle, whatever they spent, you know, their money, their paycheck.
Oh,
you know, a build is a build regardless of what caliber you're at. I think for me, you know, once upon a time, a long time ago, I was stuck. I knew zero.
Right.
I just literally put a list together, and I was like, you know, I love this, and I'm gonna buy from them and see what happens. And fast forward today, you know, doing SEMA back to back, going to multiple shows, meets, events, meeting so many amazing people that I just learn from. I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly, and that's just the dirty truth of things.
I actually like that about. That was like one of the first things. Like, I can't remember if I like met you first or if I ran across the
don't know.
Instagram page first, but I do remember
Yeah.
that like I liked like your messaging and stuff, and kind of like what you just said now. Like, you're not afraid
To be yourself.
100%, but also like I like that you kind of like. It's not that you just talk your shit.
I'm
But
not
like you
talking
kind of
shit, I
back it up a
speak
little
facts.
bit. There's
Yeah.
some motivation
Yeah,
in
yeah,
there
yeah,
too,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's like
Yep.
also get up off your ass and do what you want to do.
Yeah.
You know, like I wanted one of the things I did want to like ask you is that like, where do you get that motivation from? Like, where's that drive come from, and how do you kind of get there? Like, do you meditate? Do you talk to yourself? Like, what do you do?
To motivate myself?
Yeah, and to have that and to build that confidence, or just retain that confidence,
Motivation.
or move that way.
I think it definitely starts with my parents and having faith, of course. Like, I think motivation comes with you, yourself, that the hardest conversation is the one that you have with yourself, right? So when it comes to goals, whether it be a short-term, a long-term goal, I always write things on a list. I know it sounds kind of cheesy. I do a vision board. I put everything on a wish list. I take the time to do research, and I said, you know what? When I got into the industry, I told myself this. I even told my cousin who got me into off-roading, look what happened. All kinds of money, bankrolls. I could have bought a couple cars, you know what I mean? I could have bought a couple cars. I mean,
cars.
yeah, and fully built into it. But anyways, I think just learning with experience. But as far as motivation, it starts with myself. And I think having passion is so important. I think putting a build together, you got to have love.
Oh yeah.
And then you got to understand the love of you making money to fund your build, because obviously, you know, it's not, you know,
Not free.
No.
So where does that come from though? Because I know that you do
Myself.
that, and I see that you also go on like these solo missions, and like sometimes they're in the morning out to like a
Yeah, I'm
beautiful
pretty
riverbed.
random. So I take the time. I think with a busy work schedule and the expectations of just trying to bridge that gap between my audience and brands I work with and other affiliate companies, even though I don't buy from them, I still support them. It could be overwhelming. You know, having a social media platform, a lot of people don't realize it's like I said, it's got the good, the bad, the ugly, and I've seen a lot of ugly this past year, to the point where I was going to delete my social media platform because it became too much for me.
Oh, shit.
It's just hard, you know, mental health, demands, expectations, these keyboard warriors banging on you.
Right.
Whoa, back
So
it
is
up.
that how you kind of manage like some of that
So when I feel
like your de-stressing?
overwhelmed, so like when I'm overwhelmed, I feel like I just need a mental health break. I go on these little solo quests. You know, it doesn't matter what kind of vehicle you have, stock, you know, your daily clunker, whatever it is. Get in your vehicle, put some gas, grab some coffee, tea, soda, whatever you want to drink, and just take that drive. But I really love catching views no matter where I'm at, whether it's a city view, water, just ocean. So those little solo quests motivate me and remind me, like, I need to take the time for me, and what's going to drive me to get to where I need to be is myself. If you really want something that bad, you need to work for it.
Right.
You know, you
Facts.
can't, if you don't work hard for it, you're never, when you get there, that feeling, the rewarding feeling that you get, that's something that no one can take away from you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it's been quite the journey. It's been quite the roller coaster. I think after this year, I might be taking a break a little bit. manifest another build. You already know how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that though. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like taking a break is so necessary, and then like, I see a lot of nowadays, especially like burnout from a lot of people who just try to keep doing, you know, something like over and over and over and over again, and they kind of just, you know, burn themselves out dry, and they don't know why, but it's because they didn't take the time to really, like, you know, take care of themselves mentally. You know, like
Right.
Yeah.
you going on your solo trips and stuff
It's
like that.
amazing.
It's super important, you know, to take
Yeah.
the time for yourself.
Right.
And to just, you know, take a step back and then just disconnect from things, you know?
Yeah.
And you come back refreshed.
I know, and it's crazy. And why I respect that about what you both just said, and like why you even do that shit, is because you have like great self-awareness. You know that you need to do that. You're like, all right, I'm out. I gotta go check my battery. You know what I mean? I don't want to be social no more. And I
Your
think
battery just goes.
yeah. And you're not really. You can't. And like we were talking about this, I think on the first pod, right? It's so hard to pour into others and even do things that you enjoy when your battery on E.
Yep.
That's the truth. It's hard, and I think for me personally, I need to learn how to say no sometimes.
It's hard.
I
I
got
can say
that.
yeah to
Tiff, can you do
everything.
this? Tiff, can you do this?
I got that
Tiff, what
problem.
about this? You know, I
Yeah.
said, man, I was spreading myself so thin to the point where I had no more energy. No more energy. And I said, you know what? This new year, I'm going to take a couple steps back, commit to what I want to, but also learn to say no sometimes. And it's okay.
Right.
Sometimes you have to disappoint others because at the end of the day, what about you?
Straight up.
You're pouring into everything but
Straight up.
yourself.
Right. You know what else is hard to say no to, and I know all three of us have this problem, is tattoos.
Oh.
All three of us got a lot of them.
I'm a little covered up today, but yeah. It's an addiction.
Talk to your tattoo journey. Do your folks love it? Can we start there real fast? Do yours too. Do your folks love it,
Oh,
hate it?
man.
What's up?
So like my poor mom, I love my mom and my dad. She goes, is it gonna come off? Like, can you wash it off? So she says it to me, you know, in her native language. I said, it's not gonna come off? Okay, so keep it classy, just do a little bit. You know? I said, okay, I'm gonna keep it classy.
Okay.
So that one tattoo turned to like partial back.
She lets you run with it.
And then she goes, well, what if, you know, get married someday, you're gonna wear a dress, you know, and you're gonna show your whole tattoo. I was like, Mom, it's okay, it's just a tattoo. I'm gonna ride and die with it. So that small tattoo that I did a cover up on ended up being partial back, then full back, then hips, then legs and
Oh,
thighs.
damn.
So I have a partial body sleeve,
Yeah.
which, you know, I'm just keeping it covered because obviously it's chilly.
Yeah.
For
But,
sure.
you know, your tattoos have a lot of meaning to it.
Oh, yeah.
I think having
100%.
a bunch of miscellaneous tattoos is just a little bit too much for my taste. But
Right.
when you get a piece, obviously it means something to you or some part of your life, some type of significance. So yeah.
I mean, how do you important enough to go against your mom's wishes, right? And be like, I'm gonna do it and
I love-
worry about it later.
I love my mom. I love her to death. I love like I said, I love my parents, but my mom, she's just a sunshine to me. You know, she's my best friend, and I tell her absolutely everything. You know, she knows me more than myself sometimes, and she's like, "Is something bothering you?" I said, "No." Are you sure?
I just got a whole half body
Yeah.
sleeve. Don't worry about it.
And then when I got the tattoo, and I just said, you know, these pieces mean something to me. Each, you know, so I ended up with a partial body sleeve, and I said, you know, it's okay. I love it. I'm okay with the fact that this is the pieces that I selected for my partial body sleeve, and I'm gonna die with it, and it doesn't wash off. It's okay. It's not the end of the world.
For sure.
But tattoos, my goodness.
I know. When did your tattoo journey start?
It actually started right when I turned 18.
Okay.
So
You jumped in.
yeah, I jumped. Well, I've wanted these specific tattoos that I have. Like it's my whole left arm and like all in red ink.
Okay.
For a really long time. Like I think I first started thinking about it when I was like 13, 14.
Okay.
Yeah.
But my cousin is actually, he works at a tattoo shop or owns the tattoo shop, Humble Beginnings up in NorCal. So he was really well known for doing like tribal and stuff. Like he went to Hawaii and like New Zealand and all this stuff to learn from all the masters. And he learned all the traditional ways to do it. And like he even tattooed a few famous people, like Colin Kaepernick was like one of his biggest
word.
ones. Like he did the whole like Saint Michael, like, you know, like stabbing like Satan on the back, like the whole back piece on Colin.
Ew.
Like Dumbfounded was like a rapper that he did. The Jabberwockies when ABDC was a thing. Like
Sick.
he was doing like a lot of famous people. So like, and he was the guy I wanted to do my tattoos because, you know, the meaning that like specifically like Marquesian Filipino tribal tattoos have.
Right.
It's very specific to the person. You know, like people go to him to get these tattoos because they tell a certain story. You know, like all the stuff that's on here, like all the markings mean different things.
Passion.
And it's like, I have other
that's
things that
beautiful.
are tied in
Passion,
with it.
Yeah.
So it's like, obviously it's like, this is Irizumi. This is like an OG Japanese tattoo, like from way back in the days, like Edo period. But the first one he did, I have the Kanagawa waves in red.
Okay.
That's a half sleeve, and that was my first tattoo.
And I'm not familiar. What is that?
It's like the, you've seen like the Great Waves like painting where it's like the Japanese waves. So that's what I got up here.
Cool.
I had him do that, and it was hilarious, like tying, like, you know, how did my parents feel about it? My dad didn't care.
Was it painful?
Actually,
crying?
well, it was painful.
Some
Okay,
can handle pain.
it was painful.
Like that little elbow.
Well, like when he does it, so it's crazy because when he does it, and I asked all my other family members that got tattooed by him,
He's like,
he
"Oh,
actively
are you dead?"
messes with us. So he'll go deeper and like he'll dig harder. But
Give you that
he
extra
did,
wide.
Well, so like here's the crazy part. He did my whole half sleeve,
Yeah.
color and all, in 45 minutes.
No,
He's
a
fast. He's fast.
Damn.
But he also dug like
That
a
is fast.
mofo into my arm. And that,
said mofo.
that
You got like
hurt.
scarring?
What was that?
You got
Like scar?
scarring?
I mean, it didn't necessarily scar it, but like he tattoos in a certain
He's like impressed.
he tattoos in a certain way where it's, so some of his apprentices did some of my other tattoos, and when I still run my fingers through this tattoo, I can feel all the outlining.
I feel you.
But it's still clean and the colors are still bright. But yeah, like my dad didn't care that I got a tattoo. He was like, as soon as you're 18,
What'd
do
your
whatever
dad
you
say?
want. I mean, he was just whatever about
That's my
it.
boy.
But what did mom say?
Oh, yeah, that's
You
a
better
different
put a
story.
t-shirt on.
Well, like it's funny because like my mom, like, you know, she eventually like got over the fact like I was gonna get it no matter what, right?
Okay.
And then it's funny because my cousin, like I have a funny story with this. My cousin, like all of us younger cousins will always go to him and ask him for a tattoo, you know? He's like, yeah, if one of you guys want a tattoo, let me know. But both
Yeah.
your parents have to be okay with it.
Oh, okay.
I actually used to help him like
cool.
sweep the shop and do scheduling in my younger years when I like, you know, just needed a job.
Yeah.
And one of my younger cousins came in, his name was Francis, and he was just like, hey, what are you doing here? He's like, oh, I'm gonna ask Keo
An
Early for a
apprentice.
tattoo. And then I was like, okay, cool. So he goes and asks him for a tattoo. He goes, is your dad cool? He goes, yeah. He goes, how about your mom? My cousin turns around, he goes, I'll be right back.
Let me ask mom.
And then next thing you know, like, I think it was a few months later, he got a tattoo from somebody else
Oh, no.
that was in a really hidden spot, and his mom, like, bawled her eyes out.
Damn.
But it was hilarious to me because, like, he knew immediately, like, if the mom's not cool with it, you know, like,
Yeah.
ain't nobody
Right.
gonna do it.
right.
And he just didn't want that kind of flack from, like, the family, you know? Like, if
Yeah.
mom's doesn't want it, then I'm
Yeah.
not gonna do it.
Yeah.
Should come with crazy smoke.
Oh, yeah. She-
Absolutely.
What about you? What was your first tattoo?
Oh man, my first tattoo.
That first?
I got tatted. I started young, man.
Yeah.
I think it was I forget which arm it's on. I think it's this arm. I've got a dragon in a figure 8. I just remember I was young, kind of dumb, and I was like, if I'm gonna get something, I wasn't affiliated with a whole lot of things,
Yeah.
you know. Kind of was like a rebel. I hung out with a lot of people, but I don't know why figure 8. Fucking, you know, give me a dragon, looks badass. Give me a figure 8 dragon.
Yeah.
Excuse me, but my mom, I hid it from my mom for a minute because I was like 17, you know. So like I hid it from a minute. I even told my dude, I was like, yo, bro, because remember we was wearing like tall tees, so
Yeah.
I had about to here, you know what I mean? So I was like, don't cross that shit. And so I got away with it for about a year or so, and then it's like, you know, you stop. I'm sure you guys know, you stop kind of you get sloppy.
Yeah,
You know, you stop
caring.
giving a fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
I broke her heart too when I got it. She thought the same thing. She said to go away. You know, can
it
you
washing
wash
off?
it off? Yeah.
Wash it off.
Is it like henna or some shit?
Yeah.
Like, nah. And then I was like, okay. So I started getting, because I'm like covered now, head to toe. Like, you know what I mean? I got a few I got head tats, ear tats. But I was like, I'm just gonna start getting them in places that I can like, you know, I'm the oldest, so like, I'm like, let me try my best, because I got in a lot of trouble to not break my mom's heart. You know,
Yeah.
let me just control what I can.
Yeah,
So I started getting
definitely.
covered in places that she couldn't see. And then I influenced my younger brother, and my younger brother just was like, just getting him
Be
anywhere
like
he
you.
want. Yeah, dude. And so I was like, I'm getting in trouble for his tats. I might as well just be out here, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm covered head to toe, but a lot of my stuff honestly was like life growing, because
Yeah.
there were certain things that I wanted to do and I couldn't have access to people. And it just was like growing up in the early 2000s, you know, and I couldn't get into certain rooms. And so I remember Norm, bless his heart, he passed away a while ago, but he was affiliated through AWR, MSK, which is like big, I think the older like graffiti gangs that were like, not gangs, but crews that were like out on like Fairfax and Melrose back in the day. He had a tattoo shop out there, but I knew Norm was like well connected into the industry and things I couldn't get to. And so sitting in the chair with him, I got to know him. And we like, you know, I grew with him as his skills grew. And like, you know, you spend 5 hours in the chair with somebody, you get to know them. I'm sure you guys know your artists, you know people that you hate.
You
and that's
trust them.
100%,
You
right?
have to.
You have to, especially when you get to places you can't see.
You're like,
you know?
are you done?
Yeah.
Die here.
And it was cool. Like I would see Mr. Cartoon, guys
Yeah,
from like
yeah.
Soul Assassins, Kat Von D come through. He introduced me because we were just there, and I
Yeah.
get to meet these people. And I did amazing projects, and a lot of that shit honestly changed my life.
A journey.
It's straight up. Like if I hadn't, like I really think like if I hadn't started to get tattoos and started to go a certain direction, there's no way I'd be in the position I am today.
That's great.
No way.
The
And that kind
connection.
of is like interesting to me too, because like I feel like a lot of that stuff, like from tattooing, even what we do in cars, right,
Yeah.
and some of the other stuff, like you going to King of Hammers, sounds like it's community. And to me, community is like,
Important.
it's very important. Like what, to you, like talk to me about what community means to you.
Community as a whole,
Whatever it means to you.
just leading by example, making that connection, helping others along the way, you know, no matter what caliber or best to your ability as a whole, you know, just, I think for myself, you know, doing this build, I told myself that I was going to build one of the cleanest Tacomas, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
For
I see you saying that.
For myself, but like I wasn't trying to compete with anybody because that's not what it's really about. The only person that I'm competing with is myself.
Right.
It's like, what can I do better? What can I do to build something unique that bridges that gap between all communities and builds, which is, I wanted to build something that was JD influences, obviously T37s, a little bit of carbon fiber, and then a little bit of Euro because I love Euro colors. And obviously I love off-road. And so this is like an all community build to me because being in the industry, I've been to so many different meets, shows, events of all build types. So to be able to pull up to any event, show, meet, you know, even this is connecting the community together for me. And I think getting respect from others is amazing, and it's humbling.
It is.
I never
It
ever
is.
imagined that buying a
That
Tacoma,
part.
a Tacoma would put me where I am today. And I am so grateful for those opportunities. And I always want to inspire others to do the same. And like I said, be authentic, be yourself,
Yeah.
bridge that gap, stay positive. You know, life isn't perfect. It's what we make it. And you just got to challenge yourself, push forward, do it for you. And when we talk about motivation, like
Right.
I do it for me. Because at the end of the day, no one's going to get me to where I want to be or where I need to be but myself. And it's not about asking for a handout. Work hard for it. Buy from those companies. Support reputable companies and small businesses.
I get that vibe from you a lot too.
Yeah, I've always been. I'm very sarcastic, straight up. You already know. So, you know, if your feelings getting hurt, sorry. But I'm nice, I'm sweet, I'm sassy, but I mean well. I speak the truth. I don't
Absolutely.
hold back. You already know.
For sure. I
leave
love that about
some
you.
funny, sarcastic comments, which have a message.
little backhand at the end of it,
But
you know?
what's my caps, my compliments are never targeted to anyone specific. So if I put a cap like on one of my posts or audio, it has to flow with my content, obviously.
I see
It's
it.
not towards anybody personally, which
very
a lot of
generalized.
people well, people always think, oh, who's she talking about? I said, first and foremost, if you feel some type of way about that comment, then you must be guilty.
Hey.
You know,
Hey.
that's what I said.
Hey.
But
You know?
is it towards anybody
Do the shoe
personally?
fit?
Negative.
Right.
Negative.
I see you uplift a lot though. Like you, especially you talk to the ladies, you know what I mean? You try to motivate. I see that. Or you big up them a lot too, you know, with their builds.
You gotta inspire people, you know, because once upon a time I was stock, knew nothing, but I knew about builds, right? But to be in an off-road build, I said, can you really build it kind of JDM, Euro, a little bit of this, a little bit of that? I said, I don't give a shit. I think I'm just gonna run it and see where it trends. And like, look where I'm at today. 3 SEMAs underneath my belt, SEMA 2025 again this year. Yeah, the grind doesn't stop. Stick to your plan. Keep going. Manifest. Visualize. Like you got to put out in the universe. I'm gonna be the baddest.
That's right.
You have
That's
to
right.
be. I'm gonna motivate myself.
That's right. What about you, bro? Community.
Me and community, the way that I look at community, like first and foremost, like to me, it's super important, you know. And I feel like without community, there really isn't a purpose for doing much of what we do in our lives, you know. Community in general is just like, it's a place of belonging, you know. You sort of, it's kind of just one of those things where it's like, it's a really old saying that that President Kennedy did way back in the day, you know, ask not what your country can do for you, but what can you do for your country?
That's
you
right.
know, to me, that's like a community thing.
Right.
And it's like, if you're doing all these things, like I'm building like this Integra, you know, doing all this stuff, throwing all these parts on it, making the sickest Integra, what am I doing it for?
Right.
You know, of course, one, I'm doing it for myself. I love the car and I want to make it as best as I can, but I bought the new Integra Type S because I always wanted to put something into the community that I could produce a new product for and introduce something to the market with quality products that I know that work and work with certain brand partners like APR and whatnot.
Right.
And that's what I wanted to give to the community, you know, so I could look back like 20 years from now, you know, and the Integra Type S is a future classic.
Right.
And I see guys putting APR parts on it or like putting a certain wheel fitment and like, or package setup like for brakes and bolt-ons, and like, I know I'm the one who did that first, and I brought that to the community.
Yeah, setting the
know?
trend.
Like I started that for, you know, and I forefronted the development for aftermarket performance for the car. And it's just, for me, that's why that car is a lot more rewarding than the Supra has been so far. Like, don't get me wrong, I still love
No,
the
I know
Supra.
you love that car.
I
bro.
love that car. I mean, I got it in gold because you know, the name is Gold. My Instagram name is Gold Member. But like the Supra, when I got it, for me, like it actually helped show me towards it helped me move towards a lot of the community, like, you know, like Super Sundays and stuff like that. And I finally had a cool car of my own to do it. And then when I wanted to go and create my own type of communities, you know, create my own image, I think the Integra is what did that for me more. The Supra was more of, I really wanted this car. It was my first brand new car I ever bought.
Damn, that's cool.
And it's just like, it was a goal of mine.
Right.
And it helped bring me to places that eventually led me to that car.
Right, right. Yep.
Yeah, so it's like the community thing is just like, I think it's super important. I think a lot of issues nowadays when we see a lot of things like, you know, people faking it and stuff like that is lack of community.
100%.
It's definitely lack of community, or at least lack of authentic community.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And they kind of just get trapped like in this mentality, like nobody's gonna like me if I don't do this or do things a certain way. When in reality, it's just like, just be yourself, and the people that choose to be around you are gonna be your people.
Yeah.
You know, you can't force anybody or anything to like or do things or stay in your life in a certain way.
Yeah.
You know, like we all walk our own different ways, and the communities that are formed are from people that are within those same paths.
Straight up.
And that's the way that I always like viewed community, you know, and then there's no reason like, you know, like the online hating and stuff like that. Like there isn't stuff like, you know, like all the online hating and stuff is like, you know, it's like whatever to me, like
It's irrelevant.
it's
just
kind of
sad
irrelevant.
noise.
It's sad too.
Besides like, you know, like fuck sideshows, like that shit's
Right.
whack.
Right. Right.
Like, you know, there's certain things, there's a line, you know, there's a morality and a boundary with everything.
Of course.
And I think like with those communities, it helps strengthen those things, and a lack of community is what creates
The
bad
madness.
communities like that.
I agree.
You know, like takeovers and sideshows, and you see all these other things, you know.
Right.
Like people doing like, I do not like when people do, have you ever heard of like no hesi, like the no hesitation run movement?
No. What is
Where
that?
people will like go on the freeways and like weave through traffic at like 200 miles an hour.
Oh shit! I thought
that
that
what
shit
it's-
was
what
called like skating, like or whatever.
Something like that. Well, there's a
It's a- that's actually-
yeah.
What's his name's? The Benz dude out in New York was doing that shit, wasn't he? Until he got picked up.
Yeah. There's that C7
Ben
that was
Squeeze.
stolen too. That he ran like all blacked out plates and stuff
I saw
like that. Like, but he eventually got caught by the cops.
Yeah.
But like that stuff to me, like, is just a creation of like, they don't do things for the community. They do things because they want to be admired by the community, but they're not doing it for the
No,
community.
Right.
no, that's
Yeah.
selfish as fuck.
That's like, it's just straight up selfish. You know,
Yeah.
like I want people to think that I'm cool as hell and doing all this
'Cause you're
stuff.
cool.
But
Right.
it's like, you're endangering all these other people on the
Right.
road.
100%.
You know, you're making it worse for us because now cops are targeting me and my stock Integra.
Right.
Like,
Which just goes against community.
yeah, it goes against community. You're doing stuff that hurts the community, you
Yeah.
know?
And also social media too.
Yeah.
The power of social media and the domino effect.
Oh yeah, social media I've always said is a double-edged sword. It
Of course.
creates, you could create the best things with it, and you could create like the most genuine connections, or you can create like the most like artificial, fake, like piece of crap like out there.
For
Yeah.
sure. Oh, bro, I'd be so fast to hit the unfollow. I don't care, bro. I mean,
Yeah.
I unfollow with the quickness. Like if I don't like, I'm like,
You at least you're admitting.
Yeah.
You
because.
unfollow some people. Okay, oh well, and you'll get over it.
But I'm just saying, it's because of what you both said. You know what I mean? I think it's because if we find these things that we love so much, I don't want to take on any of the bad at all.
No.
Like I'll remove all of that as much as I can until like I have like as in my eyes, a perfect, near to perfect community. Because you guys are right. It's where we spend our time. It's where we go for a break, a mental break, a recharge, you know.
And how we connect.
Or a sense of even deeper connection, right?
Yeah.
A lot of folks out there fucking, I don't know, or just don't have siblings and stuff, right? So they go out there to kind of have deeper,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
And
A
your
tribe.
audience. Your audience pays attention to you, your build, who you're connect with, and like imagine, say you're pulling up to like a Cars and Coffee, and somebody that follows you on social media comes up to you like, hey, bud, I admire you, your build, I love what you're doing. Like I want
Yeah.
to be just like you. Like, tell me more.
For sure,
How'd
that
you get
happens in
there?
our community all the time.
All the time.
All the time, especially with little kids, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why we got to be good stewards of this stuff. And like, it's important too, just from the sense that like, I don't know, like, it kind of goes with what Arllan was saying. Like, if you're not pouring into it, right, or if you're trying to be above it and getting like a look at me thing, you're not like a steward of it, right? What are you giving back then? You're just draining the community.
Oh, yeah.
You're putting the community in a position where it's not going to flourish, probably going to get clipped, right?
Yeah.
And you're just kind of ruining it for the masses. And so I feel like anytime someone does something like that, you're just, that's like somebody you got to avoid, you know?
Toxic.
100%.
Get out of here with
100%.
that.
Get the fuck
Not
out of here
this
with
year.
that. Yep.
This is it.
For sure. You know, as we near down to the end of this thing, I kind of wanted to try something different. Like, you know, we talk about a lot of different things, and I tend to roll up with like a lot of things that are on my mind. But is there anything that you guys wanted to kind of like touch on, maybe share today? Shit, it could just be Super Bowl related. It could be personal. You know, it's a share or a shut up moment.
I mean, I first want to thank you both for this amazing opportunity. I mean, I'm humbled. I'm honored. I was shocked. I said, Dad, I want to watch on YouTube too. And here I am today. I just, like, we talk about community. We talk about connecting. We talk about building rapport, leading by example, you know, helping others along the way, best to your ability. For me, learning how to say no sometimes. I can't help everybody if you're not willing to put a little bit of work, right?
Oh, yeah.
So like if someone approaches me and says, hey, Tiff, can you do X, Y, Z for me?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So what are your goals?
Right.
Tell me about it.
I remember you did that with me.
I know.
Press me, and I was like, oh, damn.
No, it wasn't to say impress me. It's just all like, let me understand you. Let me get to understand who you are, who you're with. Are you part of this community? Are we connecting the dots together? Are we building this relationship together professionally?
I appreciated it.
Yeah, and I do those things, I mean, not like gatekeeping or like interrogating or putting on an interview. I just want to understand who you are, your intentions.
Yeah.
Move with intention, please.
Your Rolodex is valuable, absolutely, as you should.
My time is valuable. Your
Yeah.
time is valuable.
Yeah.
Can we connect and work with the same companies together? You know,
Oh, yeah,
like
most
when
definitely.
I've been to many different shows, meets, events, and we've pulled out some of the same events because what? We do rock with the same companies. And you know what? We invest in them because we believe in their product, sharing it with others. It's just so important. And it's nice to see like, okay, so they rock with them and they rock with them. We rock with the same wheels. Oh, I love it. I love it.
You're up, bro.
But like talking back on, you know, like stuff to bring up, but like going back on what Tiff was saying, supporting companies, you know, that you like, you know, you believe in their product and things like that. To me, that's a huge thing too, like industry side wise, you know, especially coming from people who like deal parts and stuff like that. I feel like there's a lot of people, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a business is a business.
Of course.
You know, make your dollar.
Yeah.
Of course.
But at the same time, there's like my biggest gripe, I gotta say, like if I'm bringing something up, like just to bring up a rant about the community,
Let's
is
go.
like fake engineering, fake testimonials on parts and things like that. Like
Not enough R&D.
not enough R&D at all.
Damn,
You know?
fake testimony on parts.
Oh,
though.
that's the worst.
Shit.
Yeah, and it's just like, you know,
Yeah.
with the guys that I work with over at Counterspace, like the one thing that I really respected about them, and like I never thought I was ever gonna work at like automotive parts, like, you know, like retail online e-commerce shops, stuff like that, because, you know, all of them are kind of the same. Everybody sells the same coils, this and that. But the difference with the guys at CSG, and I actually started my tracking journey with them with the Supra, was that every product they sell, they've tested and they've vetted. They actually use it, because they wouldn't want to sell these products to their customers and clients if they don't trust it.
Right.
You know, like I'm not going to sell you like a set of wheels if I know they crack at every like corner of button willow.
Right.
Oh,
every
wow.
berm,
That's
you
the
know?
worst.
And it's just, for me, like, there's almost not enough of that. And it's like, you know, it's like it comes to the thing with replica parts too and stuff like that.
You got to save
You
reps.
started on reps, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't believe you said
Don't even
reps.
get me started on reps.
Name
We
drop.
don't have
Reps.
enough tape.
No.
Yeah.
Memory for me to talk
I know,
about
but
reps.
it's just like the short 2-minute, 1-minute talk on reps. It's like, support the companies that are doing
Yeah.
it. You
Straight
know?
up, man.
And it's just like the guys who put in all the time to do this, it's just not, to me, it's like, because I feel it more because now I work deeper in with like OEM guys and stuff like that with racing.
Right.
And you see all the engineers that pour their time and like, you know, sweat into the R&D
Right.
just for some dude with like a camera to literally copy it and have it made in a factory overseas.
It fucking is terrible.
And it, you know, it doesn't have near have the integrity or the strength of the original intended product or anything
quality.
like that, or the quality
And the
either.
cost of it, right?
Yeah.
And there's a reason why it
There's a
costs
reason why it costs
a little
that
bit
much, you
more
know?
extra dollars, but is it worth it? 100%.
Oh
you,
yeah.
you know what my gripe with the whole reps
Yeah.
thing is, like, just to keep it basic at the
Yeah.
basic level is I feel like it's not the tuners, it's not the real folks that love this, because the real folks that love this will wait. Because they wait the year after they've already waited to save up all their coins to buy a part, right? Those are the real enthusiasts. I feel like the folks that chase the reps are just trying to quickly build something, put it together with some 3M tape, right? Be like, I completed this build, on to the next chassis.
It's kind of just
You
like,
know?
Yeah.
you know,
I
going
hate that
back to
shit.
like the whole influencer or faking thing. Like,
Yeah,
you're
Yeah,
you don't
essentially
love
just,
this
you're
shit.
essentially just clout chasing. You know?
100%.
And like the car community, like over the years, like it's grown exponentially.
Right.
But it's grown with its equal level of real enthusiasts who do love this, that
The
put
passion.
their passion in and every hard-earned dollar in, versus somebody that, hey, I want to do this because I saw this on Instagram and
looks cool.
TikTok and it looks cool.
I just don't get it.
You
Like,
know?
I grew up at a time where, like, if you told me, oh, bro, I love skating, right? But then you probably was going to be skating forever and making sure that you had the illest fit on and you could do real tricks, and I'd just be a poser, right? I feel like reps is posers, bro. You're not really trying. You don't have anything in mind. You're not giving anything, right?
There's
You're
no
not
structure.
guiding. 100%.
There's no structure. So when I look
Nothing.
at a build, to me, looking at someone's build as a reflection of who they are,
Most
100%.
definitely. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
I mean,
quality versus them.
as it got to be. You know,
Yeah.
the skateboard thing was a bad thing. I think music's
Yeah.
probably a better example. It's like mixing and mastering and not just fucking pushing out a record, right? Take your time, make sure everything sounds good. It looks great. You got cover art, right? Yeah, I hate the whole rep thing, man.
Not like, hey, look at me. Like, hey, look at me. This is me.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. That's what it is, right? That's what anything inferior and is not like meant for like to improve the chassis beyond you taking it from like stock to wherever. Come on, should have just left it stock, man. What we doing?
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
You know?
I mean, it's like, to be honest, like, you know, it's like, it's probably, this will be a hot take and a lot of people will get mad at me for saying this,
It's
but
okay. I want to hear it.
95% of builds out there, you are making your car worse, performance-wise.
Are you talking about engine components?
Engine
Are
components,
you talking about
suspension, anything.
Adding
actually,
drag.
that 5%, like, yeah, and adding drag, like, you know, an
Okay.
arrow that doesn't work. That 5% of people are making their car better actually looked into what products they were throwing on their car.
Yeah, you gotta,
know.
I make a list.
And
and
it's
do
like,
that research.
I see cars all the time where it's
Okay.
just like, oh yeah, like, you know, like I bought like this GTR and then like I threw, like, even like when it comes down to tires, you know, people don't even look at that. It's just like,
Facts.
Oh yeah.
oh yeah,
That's
you know,
important
like
too.
I have like these like,
I got these for free.
like, like, you know, Lionheart, like Lexani's, whatever.
Ling long.
Ling longs, yeah, and it's just like, your stock wheels and tires, like, were way better for your car because you could actually hook on
Right.
those, and you know,
right.
they grip.
That came stock, right?
Yeah, because you had like Michelin P4S's or something on it, but it's like you bought these rep wheels and then you put cheap tires on it, and it's like now your car drives like
I
crap.
would have just kept it stock.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
just keep it
saying.
Yeah.
stock.
Yeah.
So it's like you just I don't see the point in doing it if it's not going to make anything better.
Depreciates.
It's just like, you know, doing something for yourself.
Right.
It's like, you know, you go to the gym and work out and eat healthier so that you improve your life, you know?
Right.
And it's like, to me, putting reps on is like somebody telling themselves like, hey, I'm eating hot Cheetos 24/7 and laying on the couch, but I'm fit as hell. Like, no, you're not.
Yeah, you just cheat yourself out of an experience,
Yeah.
in my opinion. But like where I'll close it at is that you asked us something very interesting off camera.
What did I ask? I asked a billion questions.
It was
I am that person because I'm just always curious the way people think.
No, I
you know,
love it.
I want to learn. I want to learn from everybody and take something from that, and you know, make it my own.
No, I love it, and you know, put us in the hot seat anytime. But you know, you asked us like, you know, our guest selection and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's funny because this started off as like a very small like just like a me thing,
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
both these dudes like Nic and Arllan both were like, they showed like their energy and behind this thing, and it kind of like got us all thinking. Like we just wanted to end up. We just kind of wanted to keep the same energy. So you know, we want to bring folks here that like
Yeah.
have the same energy as
Yeah,
us,
of
right?
course.
Like we don't want to just talk to anybody. You know,
Right.
like we don't got the time for
Right.
that. You know what I mean? Like we
You got to
want
be
to around.
extraordinary.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
bring good energy and shit.
Yeah,
course,
it's
of
like
course.
bring good energy, and it's like don't be afraid to say. Like,
Speak your mind,
speak
right?
your mind, you know.
And
Like,
don't hold back. No
the
cap.
whole point, like I feel like the thing that I see with this, and the reason why I was so ecstatic, you
Yeah.
know, when Dee and Nic like came forward and we all started talking about this, was that it's a chance for people to authentically be themselves.
Of course.
And just say it with no bar, like, you know, like you're not gonna get any judgment from me. Like,
Right.
you know, like I've done a lot of stuff in life where it's like I ain't
Yeah.
got no right to judge anybody.
Right. But yeah, like you said, be yourself, be authentic.
And
Which
there's not enough of that out there.
Straight
no,
up.
no, not at all. It's sad to me.
Yeah, and this is like, and you know, to tie it together, that's community to me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? To be able to sit down with folks, get to understand them better, learn better from them. Like, just real
Me
quick
and my
today.
billion questions.
I love it. Like I learned. I personally had a great takeaway today. I didn't know nothing
me
about
too.
King of Hammers and stuff like that, or like the deeper side to like what motivates you and stuff. You know, that kind of keeps you going every day.
Yeah.
That was super cool, Tiffany.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
It's
Thank
an
you for
honor
sitting
to
down
meet
for
you guys.
us.
You guys are absolutely awesome. Stay tuned.
Yeah,
Don't
peace
rock
out.
reps. No ling logs.